What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Kevin with Optimized Essentials, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the dangers of celibacy when practiced incorrectly. Now, this mostly applies to men, and this mostly applies to guys who are on semen retention, NoFap, going completely abstinent or abstaining from sex, completely monk mode. Right now, I decided to make this video because I read this article in the past. Maybe a year or two ago when I filmed something on semen retention, talking about are there dangers to retaining, or are there dangers of semen retention? Because towards the end of my last streak, right, my third long streak, which was 11 months long, I think at the 10-month mark, I started to question whether or not I should continue the streak, because there was a point in time where I felt like my prostate was starting to get kind of agitated, right? I worked on this girl, this female client, not client, she was a friend actually. And there was a lot of sexual energy within the room. I wasn't attracted to her sexually. She wasn't like my type, but I could tell she was attracted to me. And she was like emitting sexual energy, frequency, and you can't help but pick up, at least for me, I'm empathic, right? I can't help but pick up the raw sexual energy coming from her, the way she was making sounds and stuff. I won't go into the details, but I could very clearly know, right, that she wanted something more than just body work, okay? And because of this, I even though I wasn't sexually attracted to her, like I was getting aroused, right? But for the next 3 days, I felt like my energy was congested in my genitals, okay? Literally for 3 days. And I think that was actually when I decided to end my streak too. Like I know when it's time to end my streak, when my sexual energy is too chaotic and I can't circulate it, right? I talk about transmuting sexual energy through breath work, which, shameless plug, if you haven't checked out my program, Sexual Manifestation, or the free course that I have available, all of the links are down below to educate yourself on what sexual transmutation is, how it works, how it creates more magnetism, sexual attraction in your life, right? How it amplifies your courage, your confidence, and all this good stuff. Check those links down below. Shameless plug. I talk about it. I talk about how you cannot transmute your sexual energy when your energy is too dark, too toxic. And we're going to be covering this in today's article. Okay, so let's see, did we finish off there? So yeah, let me wrap up on that, close that loop, and then we'll get to this article. When I worked on her, I think around that time too, I had like Chipotle, and like my energy was we ate Chipotle together. So there's something about Chipotle, man, like eating conventional dairy and then combining it with like sexual urges, like stagnation, like it clogged up my prostate. So I gave myself multiple days to clear out that sexual energy, but it did not go away. So I believe I ultimately had to end my streak. And I talk about, this happened to me earlier, right? This month when I came back from China. I filmed it with the secret sauce to NoFap and Semen Retention. Food is so important, guys. If you're having trouble with your sexual energy, your sexual urges, it's generally related to your food. If you're eating toxic food with like conventional dairy and raised shit, right? It's going to fuck with your system. I promise you. And okay, let me close off the loop. So I believe I ended my streak. That was also like a month after I filmed the video. Is there dangers to semen retention, right? Are there dangers to practicing a long term? And one of the concerns were prostate cancer, right? And I read this article. I wanted to see the other side of the argument. And I read this specific article by Paul Rodney Turner, who was called Food Yogi, foodyogi.com, but he later changed his name or his website to Paul Rodney Turner. So if you want to read the full article, go to his website, or I'll put the links in the comments down below, in the description down below. See Food Yogi right here. And you could check this out on your own, okay? So he is a monk that practiced celibacy, brahmacharya, for 14 years, okay? I've only done it max 13 months, right? I've had multiple almost year-long streaks. So 13 months was my first time. Second time was 11 months. Third time was 11 months. This year I was trying to do another long streak. I made it to 4 months, went to China, came back, had to end my streak because of the shit we're about to talk about, okay? Now, before we begin, I gotta grab some water. My throat is kind of scratchy. All right, buckle up, boys. So, we had a long introduction. This article in itself is somewhat long, so I highly encourage you to do your best to stay with me. I will try to read and articulate the words as clearly, as precisely as possible. I know sometimes if you're thinking too much, if you have other shit going on in your head, if you're not really paying attention, if you're thinking about like your work, your job, your spouse, this girl, things you have to do, you're not going to be able to finish this video. You're not going to be able to listen to me. So before we begin, take a deep breath. Be present to the moment. Feel your toes. Feel your eyeballs. Feel your belly. Just bring the awareness back into your body. Do your best to listen to me. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Stay until the end. If you stay until the end, I'm going to give you a prize, or we're going to go over a little special thing that you can, that only the people who finish videos, who have the power of finishing, can get. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to read you as much as I can. It's a pretty long article, so I highlighted some of this that I wanted to read. And then towards the end is when he talks about what is the downside of celibacy and Hare Krishnas and celibacy. This is where he talks about the problems, okay? So, and then at the end, he also talks about how to practice celibacy the right way. I probably won't read all of this, or at least any of it. So if you want to, again, read his article on your own time, please do so. But without further ado, let's get right into it from the beginning. Okay, so the danger of celibacy when practiced incorrectly. This is the author, Paul Rodney Turner. He was a 20-year-old monk taken at the Bhakti Vedanta ashram in Kalo, Australia in 1984. Ironically, right? 1984, the book. So let's go. When I was 19, I became a celibate monk or brahmachari, and I remained celibate for the next 14 years. Looking back, I am proud and astonished I managed to maintain that vow considering all the challenges and temptations I had back then. Young girls would intentionally or unintentionally tempt me, and I had to do all that I could to keep my mind focused and not feed the passion waiting to explode out of me. Girls, the devils, I'm telling you. The yogic system is to use the semen to energize the body, and through yogic asanas to raise the sexual force up the spine and not down to the genitals, which is why I talk about raising the kundalini. Like a lot of Christians, like people think new age shit is like, oh, demonic. This is not new age. This has been practiced by the yogis for thousands of years, probably even before Christianity came along. However, there is only so much you can do before you hit overload and your body resorts to nocturnal emissions, wet dreams. I would sometimes go for 6 months without having a wet dream, which he says, and I've experienced as well, right? It was something we all hated to experience as monks, feeling that we had failed in some way. But the body has to do what it has to do. And unlike masturbation, where semen is expelled through force stimulation, when a monk has an accidental wet dream, they do not lose the force. The force! Prana. But just some excess liquid, sort of like a pressure cooker letting off steam. Oh, that is so well put. I've heard of this before, that in other traditions or in other practices, that when the man is engaged in semen retention, celibacy, wet dreams is just like letting off steam, right? It's like seminal fluid that doesn't have the life force energy within it, right? To an extent. To stay true to our vows as monks, it was imperative that we kept our minds focused on pure thoughts and used up all the excess energy our body was storing through the retention of semen. So our daily routine was filled with physical and mental activities, from chanting mantras for at least 2 hours a day to hours of singing and dancing, charity work, study, and host of other chores we had throughout the day. Those times when our mind drifted to sexual thoughts, we had to immediately bring it back under control, lest we activate the root chakra, which would pull the sexual energy back down to our genitals. Powerful, guys. So even in the monastery, the monks, they had to fill their days with activities, or else they would be thinking about sexual things, and then the energy would go down to their genitals as I talk about the lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and then cause that sexual energy, that sexual dragon to want to come out, right? Which is why when you raise the kundalini, you circulate it throughout your body, circulate throughout your cells, and you engage in fitness, MMA, boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, sexual transmutation. That's how you take that sexual energy and you turn it into something better. They turn it into spiritual energy by reading scripture, doing meditation, japa, right? This sublimates and transforms sexual energy from jing, primal dense energy, to chi, fluid energy, to shen. Shen is spirit, okay? So let's keep going. Through cultivating higher thoughts, however, we activated the crown chakra, divine intelligence flowing in, the hunches of inspirations that you get. You get more of those when you are on semen retention, bruh. And this energy pulled energy up to where it was, then distributed it throughout the body. And this could be readily seen in the natural glow of our faces and the ever youthful appearance of our body. I felt and experienced that my body maturation slowed down during my 14 years as a celibate monk. Guys, the key, the secret sauce to longevity, it's none of this bullshit gimmicks that people are peddling in the market. It's celibacy, fasting, clean diet, purity of mind, purity of body, purity of spirit, and you will live for a fuck ton of time, okay? I do believe in having some high quality pasture-raised animals and meats, by the way. I'm not a full-on monk. Anyways, modern agitations. However, it is not easy to be celibate these days. I think it is even harder now than what it was for me back in the 80s and 90s. There is way more sensual stimulation at our fingertips with easy access to porn, naked and semi-naked women on magazine covers, ads, and posters everywhere you look. Sex sells, and they are making sure we do not forget. Damn sure, fucking OnlyFans girls, Instagram models. I'm just kidding. I don't have any hate against them. I learned to control my temptations. I actually appreciate and thank them for stimulating the dragon in me. When I see a beautiful Instagram girl, or I usually don't follow really Instagram models, but when I see a beautiful girl at the gym, I'm like, thank you, give me more. You know why? Because that is a perfect time. I'm not scared of temptation. That is a perfect time, my friends, my fellow brahmacharis, my fellow semen retention people, to not be like, MGTOW, I'm gonna go my own way. This is the perfect time to exercise your discipline, my brothers, right? This is the perfect time to tame the dragon, right? I encourage beautiful girls at the gym. In fact, the more, the merrier. I want to see bubble butts everywhere. I want to see boobs hanging out. Okay, maybe not boobs hanging out, but I want the most beautiful girls at my gym. You know why? So I can practice sexual transmutation, right? I want to see that bubble butt so I can get invigorated with biology, right? When there is a beautiful girl at the gym, multiple in fact, and they're competing energetically, what happens in my body, because I do my breath work, I do my deep meditation, my deepest Zen meditations at the gym. I take that raw sexual energy that I feel in my body, right? I don't get horny, but I feel arousal, life force. I breathe, I close my eyes, I'm like smiling in the inside, and I'm just manipulating the energy inside of my body, inside of the room. I know this sounds crazy, but I've been working out for over 10 years. And the last 6-7 years, I've been practicing breath work. So I can project my aura, I can project my force field. This sounds kind of woo-woo and out there, or maybe you guys think I'm arrogant, but I can sense when people are staring at me. So I love when there's beautiful girls at the gym, because that makes me work out even harder. Like you cannot deny your body's attraction, your physiology, right? But you can control it. You can manipulate it. So the more beautiful girls there are, and the more primal life force, the stronger that dragon comes out, the more excited I am to tame it, right? I'm not scared of temptation. I encourage it so I can breathe that energy into my body and invigorate myself with power, okay? So don't be scared of temptation, right? Maybe online, if you're by yourself and you're getting horny, you can, that's why I get my course, Sexual Manifestation. I teach you the breathwork practices to transmute sexual energy on the spot at the gym. Perfect training ground, right? Train with more intensity. That is the essence of sexual transmutation. In the presence of beautiful women, work out even harder, right? Sometimes I'll be like towards the end of my workout, and I'll get back to this article, guys. I know you're trying to read that. We're trying to read this. I'll get back to my workout, right? I'll get back to my like by the end of my workout, I'm kind of tired. And then like a beautiful girl will show up. I'm like, thank you, giving me energy. You know, it's like, well, my body's giving me energy because my body's attracted to this body. And I'm like, let's go, body, let's go. We're going to work out for another hour. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. But you get what I'm saying. Okay. So anyways, so sex sells, and they're making sure we don't forget it. It would be easy to just give in to all the stimulation, but then we would lose all the benefits of that. All the benefits that celibacy, even part-time, can bring to us. He even talks about part-time celibacy, okay? It is well known that athletes will abstain from sex before a major event to ensure that they are at their peak performance with testosterone levels firing on all cylinders. God damn! Aside from that, celibacy can bring tremendous mental clarity and focus. He even talks about, it is well known that athletes will abstain from sex before a major event to ensure that they're at peak performance with testosterone levels firing on all cylinders. I can attest to this, and I will also be posting a lot of videos and examples of high-level individuals, athletes, boxers, fighters, who abstain from sex for weeks, if not months, before fights. I will post examples, and I can also attest to this because before I started my recent streak, I tried to do 7 days in a row, like a week every day of fapping off just to do like a case study. I couldn't even make it to day 3, right? After day 3, I was depleted. I felt weak, physically ungrounded at the gym. And I had the contrast. It's like, I know how I feel then. I can't hold my ground. And when I'm on semen retention, I can hold my ground. So it's like completely different. Okay, so what is celibacy? So what exactly is celibacy in its most pure expression? It is brahmacharya. In the most broadest terms, to follow the path of brahmacharya is to walk in the absolute truth of the pure self, or to align every word, thought, and deed fully in Brahman consciousness, aka God consciousness, source consciousness, the divine consciousness, the ultimate. What does the word Brahman mean? It means spirit. And acharya means one who leads by example. Therefore, to practice brahmacharya is to always think and act in full awareness of our spiritual identity and lead by example. Powerful. So let me go on this a little, riff on this a little bit. There's the basic rung of sexual transmutation, NoFap and Semen Retention, purely for like ego, self, right? You're doing this for your own individual egoistic needs. And it's like we, all, and then we is like, I'm doing this for us, we, somehow. So there's like levels to brahmacharya, there's levels to monk mode, right? But he's talking about the ultimate form of celibacy, of brahmacharya, is to do this in service of God, right? To exemplify divine consciousness, to reflect God, the spirit, Christ consciousness, Buddhahood, nirvana, right? Or reflect the pinnacle of human consciousness, to be a walking, talking, some people are going to be, toes are going to be stepped on, but a walking, talking God or a demigod, because in essence, we are children of God. So when we practice this and we purify our mind, we purify our body, we purify our spirit, we're exemplifying Jesus Christ. But the Christians be like, there's only one Jesus. There's only one, he's going to come. Daddy is going to come save us. Yeah, the second coming of Christ. Motherfuckers, I am Jesus. I have a video that I filmed. I haven't posted yet, but I'm like, hey guys, I want you to look into my eyes. I am the Chinese Jesus. Anyhow, that person has attained full realization of the self, and for whom the material paradigm has faded from the center stage of their consciousness. Let's read that again. That person that has attained full realization of the higher self, and for whom the material paradigm has faded from the center stage of their consciousness, who sees every moving and non-moving thing in connection to the supreme spirit, has attached the highest ideal of brahmacharya, of which celibacy has a natural byproduct. Okay, guys, that kind of lost me there. I hope you guys are still listening. If you guys aren't thinking about this stuff, if you're still hearing from me, let me get an amen. Remember, stay grounded, take a deep breath. I think we're halfway through. We're almost there, guys. Stay with me. You'll get a cookie at the end. Okay, so what is prana? This is, I believe, what I want you to read on your own, because this is a powerful section, but there's a lot of Latin words. But we'll read at least one sentence from here. The natural glow of a healthy body is from prana, chi, right? So this one talks about, the pranic system, right? Prana is believed to flow through a network of fine, subtle channels called nadis, similar to the Chinese notion of meridians. Prana's most subtle material form is the breath, but it is also found in blood, and its most concentrated form is found in semen. So most of your prana, your chi, is found in your semen in men, and vaginal fluid in men. And then he talks about the 7 dhatus right here. The 7 structural elements of the body are known as dhatus. I talked about this in the secret sauce right here. The dhatus are formed from the food we eat, which, when digested, the usable portion of food becomes rasa, lymph, which is the first dhatu. From rasa, the second dhatu, rakta, blood, is produced. Rakta plus rasa combine to form the third dhatu, muscle, masa. This process continues to form the remaining dhatus. So he talks about the 7 dhatus as well, with shukra being the last one. So I want you guys to read this part of the article. I might actually read some of this because this is powerful. Shukra is known as virya, or the vital essence. Virya does not remain only in the reproductive organs, but pervades the body and radiates a subtle light known as the bodily aura. With the help of the sapta agnis, heat energies within the body, each dhatu converts itself into the next dhatu. Therefore, each dhatu contains the preceding dhatus within itself. Shukra, semen, contains all other elements. It follows then that excessive loss of shukra through excessive sex will over time destroy all 7 dhatus. Powerful. So if you constantly bust your nut, you are depleting from all areas of your body. And if you're eating a shitty diet, all layers of your body is toxic. Do you know why so many people are infertile? Do you know why so many people suffer from autoimmune diseases? Because of this right here. Anyways, let's go. According to Ayurveda, it would take approximately 60 pounds of food or 4 pounds of blood to replace the pranic energy lost in the ejaculation of just 20 cc of semen. Now, I don't know how much 20 cc of semen is, but 60 pounds of food and 4 pounds of blood seems like a fuck ton of blood and food. And 20 cc of semen doesn't sound like that's a lot, okay? That sounds like what someone would blow in maybe 2 or 3 sessions. Once a student of Dhanvantari, the great teacher of the Ayurveda, approached his master after finishing his studies and said, "Oh, Bhagavan, kindly let me know the secret of health now." Dhanvantari replied, "This virya, seminal energy, is verily like the Atman, which is your soul. The secret of health lies in the preservation of this vital force. He who wastes this energy cannot have physical, mental, moral, and spiritual development. He who wastes his pipi, his semen, as Confucius says, cannot develop enlightenment." All right, I made that one up. Here we go, the long-awaited. But what is a downside of celibacy? Now, before I say this, it's important to do your best to learn both sides of the story. At first, I was hesitant about this information, but I realized there's a lot of truth to this, especially when it's coming from a monk of 14 years. Unbeknownst to many celibates, is that shutting down the genitals to sexual stimulation can be very harmful to the prostate. A healthy man's body is going to continue producing semen every day, which is why it's so powerful, so necessary to do sexual transmutation, pranayama, energy circulation exercises, as talked about in my program. So get the fucking program. Stop wasting money on junk food and porn and Netflix and video games. Invest in yourself, because this knowledge will last a lifetime. What is a few $100s when it comes down to your life, your health? Stop wasting your money. Get my program. Anyways, the prostate benefits from blood flow, but if we live a sedate life of sitting on a chair for 12 hours a day and do not have sex, masturbate, or perform yoga exercises for the prostate, the gland suffers tremendously. So you can make an argument. The medical health system, you can make an argument that it is healthy, if not necessary, to stimulate your prostate either with your finger or those prostate orgasm toys, right? Which I've tried before, where you plug it up your butt. I've tried that on my 4th streak, 2022, when I kind of took a break, to stimulate your prostate, right? So there's a good argument here because your prostate needs stimulation. So masturbation can, in a way, pump the prostate. It's only when you pump it at what cost? To lose your semen? Not worth it. The hard truth, or at least excessively use your semen. The hard truth is that prostate gland requires some form of regular muscular contraction or stimulation to keep the blood flowing through it to keep it clean. Otherwise, it collects toxins and becomes susceptible to cancers. Now, this is why I believe I had to end my streak on my last 11 months and also my recent 4 months. When I came back from China after 2, maybe even 3 weeks of eating junk food, every layer of my body was congested and filled with toxins. And my body gave me strong chaotic sexual urges to get rid of this energy. And I've done semen retention, NoFap, long enough to know when it's time to end it, okay? I'm not a pure monk. I don't just eat vegetarian and veganism. So over time, my body will collect potentially toxins, okay? So I can't be on NoFap and semen retention forever like this guy, 14 years. It's because they don't eat meat. I eat meat. I like meat. I'm like Liver King. I eat liver. Arr. Anyways, so when it gets clean from intercourse, masturbation, massage, or yoga exercise, the health promoting aspect is the same. You cannot ignore your prostate just the same as you cannot ignore some form of cardiovascular exercise for heart health. Wow. If one artificially abstains from sex while cultivating sexual thoughts, just the sexual energy builds up so much that is imperative that it be released. And if it is not, it can cause a toxic buildup in the prostate and urethra. That, my friend, is why I believe what happened to me when that girl provoked me for 3 days in a row. And the other one, it was when I was, stuck. So let's continue. Hare Krishnas and celibacy. I have seen too many Hare Krishna men contract prostate cancer. Just today, I heard of a dear friend who is around my age who now has prostate cancer. We're almost there, guys, by the way. Stay with me. We're almost there. I was asked if diet had something to play in this, and my initial response was yes. Of course, diet always plays a part, and I would say that too many Hare Krishnas consume too much low-quality commercial dairy, which has been proven to be a leading cause of prostate and other cancers. Prostate cancer is one of the most common malignancies worldwide, with estimated 400,000 new cases diagnosed annually. Its incidence and mortality has been associated with milk or dairy products consumption in international and regional correlation studies. Now, he talks about this a little bit more, but I'm going to explain this a little bit. Okay, so its incidence and mortality has been associated with milk or dairy product consumption in international. Okay, so this is my theory, and I don't think it's a theory. I think if you research it, you can prove this, okay? Conventionally raised cows, meaning cows who are given conventionally raised grains, soy, vegetarian diet in the feedlots, they're fed GMO soy and corn. Okay, when a cow takes in GMO soy, corn, and grains, and it's producing milk, you have to understand that that milk is of lower quality than a cow who's in nature breathing in fresh air on the mountaintop, eating grass, okay? When you're drinking the milk of a lower quality cow, that's why there's so many people who talk about you're drinking in the puss and all the other nasty shit that's in the milk, right? But most milk should be purified. You're also taking in the negative energy of that toxic energy of that cow. And most people have problems with dairy and gluten because the shit that is on the market nowadays have been heavily processed and, gone through a bunch of processes that no longer is absorbable or at least healthy to the human body, which he'll talk about very shortly. Okay. And not just this, one more picture to paint in your mind. When you're drinking cow's milk, okay, remember this the next time you drink milk. You're not just drinking one cow's milk, right? There's tubes that are tied to maybe 10, 15, 20 cows that are sucking milk from them. They're all going to a pot. That pot is going to another pot, bigger pot. So you're drinking the milk of over 10 to 15 cows at the same time. Bro, that's gross, man. Imagine like 10 guys or 15 guys in the same room, all, doing their business in the same jug, and you're taking a little swig of that, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyways, he says, prostate cancer is the most, okay, read that one already. However, as I thought more about this more, and the fact that many of my celibate Hare Krishna friends, including Swamis, have suffered from prostate cancer, it led me to believe that the real issue here is not the devotees are not taking care of their prostate. Most of them live very sedate lives. Okay, hold up. Let's read that again. It led me to believe that the real issue here is that the devotees are not taking care of their prostate. Most of them live very sedate lives, not doing any serious exercise and spending hours sitting down and meditating, lecturing, or writing. Many of them shun exercise or hatha yoga, feeling that it is something mundane. In reality, everything becomes perfected when used in God's service. Keeping our body, which is the temple of God, which for all of you Christians out there, explain to me the scripture that says, the kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom of heaven is within basically means that in order to enter the kingdom of God, you need to ascend spiritually, right? Jesus Christ, rises from the dead at the age of 33, right? Gets crucified, something like that, at the age 33. And then if you think about how many vertebrae there are in the spine, 33, right? And if you think about the yogic system of raising the kundalini, opening up the chakras, right? People say, this guy commented recently on my post that the chakras is demonic, right? It's the pathway to the doors. Bro, let's dispel this right now. And then we'll get back to the post and we'll wrap up. The chakra system, each chakra correlates to an endocrine gland within your body. Okay? Your body is an electric system. This is a scientific fact. If you do not believe that your body is an electric system, you are living under a cave, okay? The fact that there is static electricity when you open a car and you do this and do that, and your nervous system operates with electrical impulses means your body is an electric system. The fact that you have electricity going through your body means that your cells have bioelectricity. And the fact that your organs and your cells emit electricity, vibrational frequency, right? Tesla, okay, means that your body, right, is an energetic organism. It has energy flowing through it. Energy is, electricity, energy. That's why magnetism, sexual magnetism, attraction is amplified during NoFap, semen retention, sexual transmutation. If each organ contains cells and cells have bioelectricity, then the chakra system, the energetic centers, the vortices within your body, right, which is why you can feel when someone is not happy. You can feel when someone is sad. You can feel someone is feeling love. There's like a vibration being emitted from your body via your organs. Okay, so each energetic center is correlated to an endocrine gland. And this can be proven through, I think, Kirlian photography, where it's like you can see your aura and stuff, and your aura changes, the color of your aura changes depending on your emotions, your mood, what you've eaten, the thoughts that you're thinking. This is not demonic new age stuff. This is your cells within your body coagulating and forming energetic centers the same way the rainbows, there are 7 colors within the rainbows, the same way there are 7 planetary systems, macrocosm, microcosm, right? So when you understand this and you realize that the temple of God is within you, and the goal of spiritual evolution is to expand your consciousness, is to ascend, to rise from the dead, to be reborn again, to renew your mind, to renew consciousness, to go from a lower level of consciousness, animalistic instinct, lower animalistic desires, lower 3 chakras, root chakra, sacral chakra, and solar plexus, to tap into your heart, to activate the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakra, right? The 1,000-petal lotus. When you combine all of this and you are a fully realized, fully conscious, enlightened human being, then you achieve the pinnacle of what I believe spiritual evolution is, and that is self-realization, brahmacharya. Okay, so anyways, where were we? The real issue is they're not taking the prostate. Okay, we read that. Keeping our body temple is the best in the best shape possible is perfectly in line with the principle of yukta vairagya. I think some Indians will know what I'm talking about. Or the art of using everything in the service of God. Okay, so this is where you can read this on your own, and then we'll wrap up. How to practice celibacy the right way. So I'll read the first sentence. Through the practice, or maybe the second one, through the practice of various yogic asanas, positions, and meditative poses, one can draw the sex energy upwards and convert it into subtler, vitalizing energy called ojas. Now, I've talked about this before. In order to circulate your sexual energy, in order to transmute your sexual energy, you need to understand how to practice sexual transmutation through breathwork and yogic poses, asanas, spiritual disciplines, sadhanas, right? To bring the energy, sublimate it from a dense form, jing, qi, shen, right? Turn it into spiritual energy, which is ojas. Okay, now you can read the rest of this. I'm not gonna read the rest of this. I already read a lot. He talks about how to do it properly, the yoga asanas for a healthy prostate, right? So check his article out, give him some clicks. I'm gonna read some more stuff from him in the future because this guy has really good content. But there you have it, okay? So let's do a recap, and then congratulations to staying to the end. I haven't forgot yet, so I'll give you a reward at the end. So the recap is that if you're going to do NoFap and Semen Retention, you have to be aware of your prostate. You have to make sure that you're healthily regulating your prostate by giving it either massages or doing breath work that pumps, that stimulates that ejaculatory pulsation that you feel when you are buzz, having your nut, right? The reason being is because your prostate can accumulate toxins right here. Otherwise, it can collect toxins and be susceptible to cancers. Okay. There was another there was another part that he talked about food. Oh, right here. I'll read this. Okay, so diet is equally important. A diet consisting of foods that are rotting, spicy, or filled with negative thought patterns is disastrous for the brahmachari. For this reason, we never ate at restaurants and would only eat cooked food by the priest at our temples. The strictest monks among us would never eat after sunset and would be careful not to eat too many sweet foods, which would agitate the mind and senses. Back then, I was not aware of the dangers of the commercial grade milk. However, fortunately, I lived most of my monk years on farms where we drank the excess of milk from our protected cows. Okay, now that was in the section of how to practice celibacy the right way. So that basically concluded what I wanted to talk about. When you're eating foods, conventionally raised foods that were raised with negative energy, let's say the person preparing the food had low consciousness, or the person preparing your food was mean or angry or toxic or negative, right? His consciousness, if you believe in this stuff, right? Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiment with water crystals, the negative energy gets kind of absorbed or imprinted into the food, or the animal that is toxic, the milk gets imprinted with that negative energy. And when you consume it, you begin to embody, take in, right? That's what they call it, imbibing when you drink. You begin to embody the vibrations of that animal, which is why they don't believe in eating certain animals and stuff like that, or just keeping clean. It's because you take on the trauma and stuff like that. There is validity to this. The more you do it, the more your body collects these toxins, these negative energies. And the more of these negative energies you have, the more you attract these experiences into your life, which is why demonic possession, entity possessions, and stuff like this is real. When you purify your body through yogic practices, eating vegetarian, eating vegan for a while, keyword, after a while, I don't think it's healthy. Your body starts to break down. Anyways, you start to purify your mind, your body, and your soul. And then that is the path of brahmacharya. That is how you become a brahmachari, is to have a pure mind, body, and soul, to exemplify divine consciousness, source consciousness, spirituality, to be light and love. Enlightenment means to let the light in, which is what my Kundalini yoga teacher talked about. So in order to do semen retention, NoFap, celibacy properly, You need to take care of your prostate. You need to eat healthy, because if you're eating foods that are raised by traumatized cows that are depressed, cows that have unhealthy, like imagine eating a fat person who all he eats is Twinkies and Snicker bars and hot Cheetos and chips, and he has like puffy veins, he has spider veins all over his body, he has diabetes, he has fungus, or he has gout, his fingers all fat. And imagine eating that person versus eating someone like me, right? Completely different. One, you're going to get sick from eating, and the other one, you're going to be healthy. If you eat meat, you're going to be healthy, right? So the key here, in order to not be susceptible to prostate cancer, supposedly, is to not ingest conventionally raised dairy or foods that were poisoned with pesticides, fungicides, foods that have a bunch of shit in it, because when you're eating it, it will get built into all 7 dhatus of your body, all 7 layers right here. You will have uncontrollable sexual urges, uncontrollable sexual energy. You're probably going to relapse. You're probably going to get upset yourself for not being able to control yourself. And then you're probably going to develop some form of problems in your prostate. If you don't meditate, if you don't move, if you don't do yogic poses, your prostate is going to get backed up. Your prostate is going to have toxins, and then you're going to suffer. So before I make the announcement, again, I'm going to plug my program. Check out my free course, Sexual Manifestation. That'll teach you how to transmute, not how, but that'll teach you what sexual transmutation is, how it works. And then check out the masterclass. If you want to get coaching, check out the links down below. Join our Facebook group, Sexual Transmutation Mastery. And most importantly, if you want to invest in yourself and you want to stop being an average Joe, stop spending your money on junk food and Netflix and porn and drugs and video games, take that money, invest it back into yourself, because that will compound over time, compound interest. Get the course, Sexual Manifestation. You will not regret. It will be the best decision you make in your life. You will be levels above the average man, energetically, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So with all that being said, you made it to the end of this video. Congratulations. You, my friend, have the power to focus, which is the most powerful key, the most powerful skill that you can have, or the most powerful trait, attribute you can when it comes down to success. So although I don't have a physical cookie to give to you, I want to congratulate you by saying you have monk-like discipline. You, my friend, are probably going to be amongst the top 5%, if not 1% of guys in this world who will succeed, right? So I will give you the mental acknowledgement that you have done, which is easy, but not easy, because most people would have clicked away by now. Most people won't be watching a video like this, that you're going to be a top tier guy, right? I give you that acknowledgement. So in the description down below, what I want you to write, if you make it to the end, is I have monk-like discipline. Okay, affirm that. And then whoever else reads it can make that comment or like your post. But if you make it to the end, I want you to be the person who writes, I have monk-like discipline. Okay, so that's it, guys. Get the program, get the course. Promise you, you will not regret it. I wish to work with you closely, more one-on-one, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.